Hi and welcome to another video on FreeCAD. In this video we're going to make emergency cufflinks, because sometimes you've got a shirt that requires cufflinks and you don't have any cufflinks laying about. Recently I found myself in this situation, so I thought I'd better draw some up pretty quick. So let's get started. So first we'll get started by starting a sketch on the top or XY plane. So this brings me automatically into the Sketcher workbench. So first I want to select a rectangular polygon and place it on the datum point. I can then drag it out to make it larger and left click to finish placing the polygon. Take this out, and I want them in order to, there's a few things that we need to do to make this fixed. First of all, I'm going to take my vertical constraint, take the top point and take the datum point. This will stop it from spinning. Then I want to set the diameter of this circle, which is a construction geometry. So I'll take tool, circle, and want this to be 20 mil. I've previously done a couple of different designs and iterations of this. So obviously I didn't know straight off the bat that I wanted this to be 20 mil. I did out something that looked kinda right and then tweaked it to suit. That's why I've got the dimensions too. I will that, and I will add it this to, don't have this dimension set, so say 4 mil. I think 4 mil sounds good. Okay, right now we're going to pick the bottom face and we want to create a sketch. Here I want to create a shaft, so datum point, nope, choosing the wrong circle, datum point. Right, and I want this to be 5 mil. Straight 5 mil, enter, close that to be 18 mil long. This was one of the things that I had to tweak. So I initially had this much shorter. I think I might have had a 10 mil, and then I tried it out on the cuff and it ended up being a bit too short. Ended it out to 18 mil. So now we want to create a cutout here to allow our wee key to go through. So I'm going to create a sketch, put it on the side profile. So I'll pick a side plane here. Then the centered rectangle. Choose to keep it on the plane because we want it symmetrical. So horizontal constraint, point, bottom point, 2 mil wide. I'm going to hit escape and drag this down just so that I know where this is, because since we're drawing in the center plane, you can't actually see the sketch. It's a bit of a issue with FreeCAD. I'm sure in later versions, or maybe there's a setting somewhere that you'll be able to see it, but at the minute, I'm going to widen this out just so that I can set the height of it first. Vertical, take that point, second point. Here I want it to be 5 mil tall. Escape. I'm going to put this on back down to 2 mil. No, I'm not. Put it back up to 10 mil. Now what I want here is I want to set the distance to the end of the shaft. I accidentally hit escape, so I'll hit model, right click and edit sketch again to get back into it. What I want to do is set the distance into the shaft. In order to do that, I will have to use this tool, which is the external geometry. Select my bottom line. Now I can use this to set a dimension against. Vertical constraint, that point, hit that point, and I want this to be 2 mil. Set this one back down to 2 mil wide. I find it very hard to select the points of the sketch since I've got everything else set before I bring it back down to 2 mil again. That's fine. I'll close that and I will then go to pocket. What I want to do is I want to make it symmetric to plane, and then the type I want to change it to through all. Go both ways and it'll create a cut through the whole thickness of the shaft. Okay, that's our cutout done. Now need to tidy it up. And one thing that I have noticed is that this connection point here between the flat and the shaft, it needs to be strengthened up, because any sort of tension on it will, well, I suppose depending on what way you print it as well. Originally I was printing this upright, but I found that because of the way the layers are made up, it made that this point was very prone to breaking off. Any sort of sideways motion on the shaft then ended up to break. So the idea is then to print it at an angle, leave the layers whenever they build up at an angle, so that it doesn't leave this weak point here breaking. But also to help that, what we're going to do is we're to put in a fillet. This one, I think 5mm, no, too wide. Well, I suppose you could leave it at that. Yeah, so that's 5mm. Then we're just going to put in an extra few fillets just to, that one needs to be 1, and these other ones, I'm going to select them, hold control, just click to select them. These other ones, and put fillet in 2mm. Oh. Part of our cufflink. Now, if you wanted to customize it a bit, one thing that you can do is, for example, I could go here and sketch, skip from that, face, sketch, select a polyline, and I could go sketch whatever I want. I'm just doing this roughly. To do this. Obviously, with a bit more thought, you can do design you wanted. Doing it a bit better. I'm not going to fully fix it because that would take a lifetime. Close that. I'm going to pocket this, and I've made that 4mm deep, so maybe 1mm thick, and that leaves a bit of a dent at the top. Obviously, it doesn't look the best, but it'll do for now. Okay, then I can do files, so file, if as cufflink P8Y. That I can select body, I can go file, I can export, then save the STL in there as well. That's the actual cufflink part, and then we can do a key. So here, part, and I shall create a sketch in. Do a rough shape of font. There. So that's the shape that I want. So then just make sure that I've got all of the, I had to skip to come out of the tool. Put in all of horizontal and go. Right. Perpendicular. It's fine. Then want to change this to construction. Line tool. And a constraint between that. Start putting in dimensions. So vertical there. Small 5mm. Keyboard shortcuts. So that's L. It's L for horizontal and I. No. 3mm. L. 4mm. Don't want 4. L. 12. I. 7mm. Done something I didn't want to do, so I'm going to go Z to figure out how to do this. L. I'll put a constraint point. Something I didn't want. Control Z. Just drag it down. Okay. 2 sets. I point 2mm. Do an angle distance. Point that point. Do 2 there. Okay. This needs to do maybe 22. Didn't record all the dimensions that I need. Starting this, that'll be alright. So 22. I believe it into total length. There, 7. Keep going down. Parallel. That. Try this again. Seven. Okay. More like it. So shall pad it 1.8 thick. A couple of right. Maybe 1mm. Even. That's going to be it. Select the 5 maybe. 0.2. 2. Okay. So the idea is that this will bend down to the link. Cufflink dash key dash pdy 8y. Save. Select the body, file, export. Cufflink key, save that. Then I will go to Slater software. Here. So, body. Now one thing that I want to do here is I want to put it on at an angle. Yeah, so whenever the layers build up, it'll actually have a bit of strength, sideways motion, because the layers will be the length of the entire part. Then add key. Gonna be very small. Don't know, double up on these. Copy, paste. So if it was just these keys, you probably couldn't print them by themselves because it'll just get tangled. It won't have time to cool by the time it gets to the second layer. So by having these two other parts here, it will hopefully allow each layer enough time to cool by the time the layer tries to go on top of it. So we shall slice. Oh, supports. Support. Play. Slice again. Like it. And since supports will hopefully also be quite easy to pull off. Hopefully. Only 42-minute print time. So if you need them in the future, run your print an hour before you need them and it'll potentially get you out of a jam. So I'll print this now and we'll see how it gets. Thanks for watching this video on designing some cufflinks with FreeCAD. I hope you found it helpful, and if you have any questions or feedback, please let me know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more FreeCAD tutorials.